she uses her forearms in normal attacks. She has a lot of multi-hit punching moves. That string is cool because it reminds me of her MK3 chain combo. You can see she has a lot of throws, yeah.
Just brutal.
Yeah, she hits really hard. The N2 to her fatal blow is the punch walk, is back.
Hashtag punch walk, everybody.
Yeah, I was really glad to see that again.
I want hashtag punch walk.
The Soul Chamber is looking better than ever.
Yeah, Soul Changer looks incredible. So that's sort of how Sheeva moves around the playing space and how she just overpowers her adversaries. Let's take a look at some of her like her normal moves from her kit.
So starting off, she has this back three, which is an overhead. It has a crushing blow, and the requirement is to punish a low attack. So you can see here, she's gonna counter hit that down three and then break her nose.
Just go right over.
Pretty awesome away three too.
This is my favorite string. I just think it looks awesome. It's a very fast mid and overhead, and then she can either end it quick or go through the full thing. Very easy to hit confirm. This is her 4-1, which is like her best long range string. She doesn't get like a ton of easy hit confirm damage off of it, but the range is great. This is her knee, and it's her fastest mid. It does not have the range of 4-1, but it's really, really quick and safe.
It's just like the UMK3 combo, too.
Yeah, which I love to see. I also love that one of her grabs is a tribute to her UMK3, where she would throw and then do a standing high kick.
Right. I love all the little Easter eggs from past games that show up in when characters return. It's pretty awesome. Let's take a look at the default specials for Sheeva.
So to start off, she has her fireball. I think it's better than it's ever been. It's pretty fast. The amplified version is a mid, which is great for like fireball exchanges. This is her back forward 4. It is a throw strike move. Great for ending combos. She can do a ton of damage by amplifying it, and it does dot damage, and it armor breaks, so it's a pretty all-purpose move. Her stomp is
back.
It's her trademark move. It's exactly what you want. It's unblockable, it's trolly. It has a crushing blow if she does not miss it 3 times and amplifies it. It does not have to be 3 in a row. Sorry, you had a question?
No.
Oh yeah, it doesn't have to be hit 3 times in a row. It just can't miss. So you can like do 2 in the first round and have it loaded for the third or whatever. She can also hold block to stay in there a little bit longer to trick you if you try to backdash or forward dash out of the way. So it's maybe the most fun thing about playing.
You can actually delay the drop, which is awesome.
Yes. Yeah, you'll actually see them look up and then she comes down late.
Does it cost any meter or anything to delay the drop?
No, it does not. It's pretty nice.
We might see a variation later that will do some things to the stomp too, so we'll get to that here in a little bit. Let's take a look at variation 1.
So variation 1 is kind of stomped based. First she gains this anti-air grab, and anti-air grab are actually, I believe all of them are buffed across the board in this patch. I know for a fact Shao Kahn and Terminators and hers are. This one amplifies and do really big damage. And it's great for if the opponent is trying to jump out of her stomp move. So you can see here she gets a juicy combo. It also has a crushing blow if you do the regular and then amplify it. So like you hit with the regular, the opponent tries to jump again, you can amplify it. Then in this variation, she gets her MK3 Tremor move, which is like a shorter version of the stomp. It's unblockable. It's like a ground pound, basically. And then she can, in this variation, change the direction that she stomps. If you hold forward or back, she can go in front of the opponent or behind the opponent. So it's like if you predict that they're going to try to... Sorry?
I was just going to say some Sheeva mind games.
Right, like you predict they're going to try to forward dash out, you can actually hold back and then go drop down to where they're going to be dashing, which is really obnoxious for the opponent.
I think we had talked also about how her tremor move, you can kind of use that for some trickery too and get your anti-air grab out as well.
Yes, when Tremor and Anti-Air Grab are equipped in the same loadout, she can actually do the Anti-Air Grab as an amplify. So what I mean is, like, you can do the Tremor, amplify it to hold up, and she'll go into the Anti-Air Grab. So if they try to jump over the second hit of the Tremor, you'll actually grab them out of the air and then get a combo, which is super fun. So it's like
more mind games.
Yeah, so it's almost like two abilities are linked together and have this added benefit if you use them together.
Right. And that skin's kind of like a classic throwback too.
Yeah, it's really cool. I really like the hair. She has the default mohawk is super cool. And then she has a bunch of different helmets and then a couple of different hair options.
Right on. Let's take a look at variation 2.
So this one is shield based. She gets 3 different special moves. She gets a shield charge, which is great for closing space, and it leads to combos. She also gets this shield spin. When you amplify that, she knocks them away, and this is a crushing blow. And it's for just doing it 3 times. So the 3rd time you do it, you're going to get really big damage from your combos. And then she gets the shield toss, and this replaces her standard fireball. So this you can hold it, and it will absorb projectiles, like blast through them, into a crushing blow and do additional damage. So like, if she holds it, releases it, Sub-Zero does Ice Ball, it'll go past his Ice Ball, blow that up, it's off screen, and then she gets a crushing blow.
Awesome. That's great. So more of a weapons-based version of Sheeva for that one.
Exactly. So she gets counter zoning, better mid-range, and then probably the best combos, or some of the best combos she can have. And
let's take a look at the final variation, which I am super excited about.
Yeah, this one is super fun to me. It's 50-50 mix-up based and rush-down based. So she gets this Death March, which is like a stance. She can start charging forward, and you can cancel it, or you can let it go and do the Big Boot. The Big Boot's a high, but it's a plus on block. And it has a crushing blow if you let her run across the whole screen. And then she also has other options from it. She can do the back 3, which I showed earlier, like just the overhead. She can pop you up and get combos. So it's like combo starter, mix-up tool, cancel tool, all in one. And then she gets the slow grab. And this leads to an amplified, which sets up dot damage. And the dot is if they backdash or try to jump out. So it like limits their mobility, or they're going to take a bunch of damage. And then she also gets a crotch grab. And that leads to a combo starter as well. She can actually do that twice in the same round to cash out for like big damage.
Oh man.
So see, you can see she has a crotch grab and a low grab, which is the mix-ups like sell themselves. She can do like any of her overhead strings, do the low instead. She can mix up the back 3 overhead and the low grab. She can just run up and just do them raw. Like, this is the version for sure if you just want to do high-low mix-ups all day, that's what I want to do.
And just grab, 2-player animations all over the place, like just exactly what I'm looking for. I'm very excited to play Sheeva for sure.
Right, like a simple example.
Tyler all over it.
Her back 2 is mid-overhead, and you can do back 2 and then cancel into the low. And that's going to keep them guessing. So the options are unsafe, but it's like high risk, high reward play style. Like it's a total YOLO, like just go ham, mix them up. You're going to do a lot of damage. You're going to take a lot of damage if you're wrong, but Shokan don't care.
Right. And just like Fujin, there, a lot of different types of players will want to play her for the different variety of variations she does have, because they all play very differently.
Yeah, they're all like kind of like high risk, like mix up, but it's different styles. Like it's like grabs, 50-50s, and then the stomp mix ups, and then kind of more honest footsies of the shield variation that all kind of, so it depends on how you want to play the high damaging play style that suits you with still being in that archetype that she has.
Gotcha. Well, let's take a look at the Fatal Blow.
I think she turned out
the retrograde. Oh my! Yeah, I was excited when I heard that she was going to be in the game, and now that I've seen how she plays, I'm just like, I'm just like everybody who's watching the stream right now. I just want to play the game. And that'll be coming very soon.
By the way, my favorite thing about Retro Crate, okay, so the projector is cool, but the classic arcade games in the background is like Rampage World Tour and Primal Rage are back there. Like, come on, that's amazing.
I like the hanging cardboard cutouts. I think that's my favorite.
Oh, yeah. Those are incredible. Absolutely. Let's take a look at the fatality.
I think this is maybe my favorite in Aftermath. The audio is so gross.
I want to give big ups to the social team who put that on. You probably all saw the meme they did with the reporter and that fatality last week. That was just perfection, like so good. So that right there is Sheeva. Sheeva, and we'll be playing her tomorrow. Grabs, mix-ups, just a ton of damage, maybe a little YOLO, and that if that's what you like, let's go.
Yeah, I think she'll be a pretty cool addition to the meta because she kind of reminds me of like the Terminator, where it's just going crazy, everything's doing good damage, it's all high risk, it's very fast paced. I think it's a lot of fun. Like, once I started seeing her animations and started really playing her, I'm like, oh my god, like she's just an absolute brawler. It's super fun.
Real cool.
And she also has a lot of cool moves too that we're not showcasing as well.
Yep.
Yeah, she has
a lot of stuff that like
that weren't in a tournament loadout that are pretty neat too.
Be able to explore those tomorrow when Aftermath launches. Again, you can pre-order Aftermath still, any of the versions you want to set up your game how you want it, and you'll get the Eternal Clash skin pack, which we're very excited about. We've seen a lot of those in some of the trailers with the Scorpion, the Frost, and the Sub-Zero skins. Super fantastic. Real quick, before we move on to RoboCop, which I'm also excited about, we're going to talk, there is a balance patch coming with this for the game, and there's Stephanie was just going to go through a couple things you might see in that, and we'll let it come out for you all to read it later to see what happens to your characters and whatnot. But Steph, you want to go through a couple characters right now?
Yeah, so I chose 3 to go over, and this is not the complete thing. So there are a lot of balance changes, but they are somewhat small. We took a lot of look at like frames, a lot of damage changes, but we did not want to change like everything about the game. Like, it's not a massive reworking. We're pretty happy with the meta and balance of the game right now, but we did want to look at some of the minutia. So I picked 3 examples of characters that are getting some pretty cool buffs. First is Raiden. So his back 1-2 is like his main footsie tool. That's the main min-range move you want to do, and it's now a little bit safer. And the cool thing is the throw at the end, back 1-2, 1+3, is now an actual throw. So if the opponent tries to jab him out of it, he'll actually interrupt and then grab them, get the damage. So if they read that, they can punish it. But if they're reading that and trying to duck it, then they're not doing the full punish that they normally would. So it makes his neutral game a little bit safer and a little bit more of a guessing game to use, which is cool. We also looked at the crushing blow requirement for his electric fly, the torpedo. It is the same, but the requirement has been pushed a little bit closer. So it's to do the Superman from full screen, it's now a little bit closer. So it's a little bit better for punishing. And then another thing we looked at is his storm cell, which is his main pop-up. You can now not break away till the last hit. So before, you could break away during even the first hit of it, and then Raiden would be left open for eternity. He could go consult the Elder Gods, come back, and still get punished. So now they're going to have to only break away at the very end, making it a little bit harder to deal with. And there's 5 other changes, but those are kind of fun ones to preview. We'll also talk about Scarlett. With her 4-4 used to be high, and it's now high-mid. So that is this really good advancing string that's advantage on block, but it was super punishable because it was too high. So now the last hit is a mid. So if the opponent is sitting there ducking and the second hit would have previously whiffed, it's now going to be blocked, and she'll be left at advantage. Another thing with Scarlett is her blood port is a little bit faster. That's her teleport. It's like 4 frames faster, I think, so it's not like instantaneous, but it should be a little bit better for mobility. And then lastly with her, I'm excited about this one because I love the move. Her back 2 now has significantly more advantage on hit. I think it's like 10. So that means when the move connects, she has a lot more time to, like, she can go for another one because that's the crushing blow, or she can do, you know, a throw or whatever meaty she wants, and she'll have a lot more time to get out her attack before the opponent can do like a wake up. And then like Raiden, she has a couple others, like her back 1-2 has some frame data changes and stuff like that. And then lastly, a lot of people have wondered about Shao Kahn. So last week I mentioned that his 4-3-4 is now special cancelable. And that also has a change like Raiden, where the throw is now a true throw. So the same applies to there. But another move we looked at is his back 3. And it's changed across the board. It's faster, it does more damage, and it has an all-new hit reaction. It now just sets up combos easily. Like, I don't play Shao Kahn, and I can just easily train him to do a big combo. Like, he can just walk up and do his back 1 or whatever. So it's still an unsafe mid, but it's a little bit faster, and it's much better for doing combos. And then lastly, most characters only have 1 armor breaking move. He actually has 3. So we already talked about his downward shoulder charge, but both of his anti-air moves, his anti-air grab and his anti-air spear, also break armor. So he's like the armor breaking master, which makes sense since he's like
it's a boss character.
Right, yeah. So he has a lot of options if you're trying to break away from him, which is pretty cool.
Well, that's great. We'll have the patch notes out soon. There's no ETA on that, but, you know, keep following us on Twitter, and when they show up, you'll see them. So there we go. That's just a couple things. There's, you know, look at your character when they come out, but that's what we're going to tell you right now. But I think it's now time to move into RoboCop.
Kahn wins. Flawless victory.